Hey guys, Cam315 back out with another video for you guys. Back with another Flagrant Flower Blooms with Dignity episode review for you guys as we are continuing on with this show. So freaking good, so freaking good. I need more Karuko and Rintaro moments, bro. I just need more of those moments, but I'll take them in the tiny little bits and pieces I can get of them, right? So anyways, um with what obviously we started the episode where we last left off was the whole thing about Rintaro's notebook being exposed and the note saying "do your best" from Karuko Wagari. So their friends look at this and they're like, what is this?" And then they see the note that says "do your best, Karuko." And eventually his friends kind of put two and two together and like, wait, Karuko? That sounds like the girl from the library. That's what the other girls called out to her and everything. That was her name. And they're like, so obviously one of Rintaro's friends, which is Saku. I got one of the friends down. I'll get the other friends down, right? Names down. But essentially, he's like, Rintaro, what the hell's going on, dude? What is this? What is the meaning of this, right? And Rentaro legitimately is just there and he says nothing until he's like basically saying like it's none of your concern, don't worry about it, right? You know. And basically they're like or the dude's like, dude, what are you talking about? It's nothing to do. I'm like, you're not telling us shit, right? And he's basically telling Rentaro, he's like, dude, you haven't been telling us what's been going on. Like you've been acting different, what's going on? Like you don't tell us anything, right? And obviously the teacher ends up breaking it all up, right? And he's like, look, guys, what are everybody doing on the floor? Like, what is it, right? So, because of it, it's created a divide between Rintaro and his friend Saku, right? Now, we see later in the episode, the rest of the friend group, with the exclusion of Rintaro, right? They basically, the thing is, Saku is like, he feels differently now, and he's starting to wonder if Rintaro actually doesn't trust them anymore. And basically, he's going to a Kikyo girl for more help about stuff. And he's feeling like, okay, this guy doesn't trust me, and he's supposed to be my friend. Is there something I'm doing that's wrong? But then his other friend, one of the other friends and one of the other black-haired, group friends in their group, again, I'll have their names down, right? He basically like, look, man, look, I think Rintaro is fine. Look, it is what it is, I think, he just doesn't, there's clearly something going on, maybe it's something he just is not ready to tell us. And, when the time comes, he'll tell us what's going on and everything. Maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable. Maybe he's not ready to tell us, but I have full complete trust that he will eventually tell us what's going on, right? Which, thank goodness, they kind of nipped this in the bud. This again could be another issue that pops up in some romance animes and just some slice of life animes in general, where you have a fight between friends, especially when it comes to like a certain girl or something like that, or secrets being hidden, and things like that. I like how they kind of nipped this in the bud right then and there. And again, it goes from your your untypical trope thing. I think I brought this up, I think last week when it came to the Subaru telling our boy Rentaro, like, hey, stop seeing Karuko, right? Kind of similar thing here. Like, they nip it in the bud where it's not going to be an issue, and it doesn't create, like, issues. You only have it established for like a few 3-4 minutes of the episode, and it's already nipped in the bud. Now obviously it's clear it's going to build up to a moment where eventually Rintaro is going to be tell his friends like, yes, I am talking to this girl from the school right down the street from us or right next door, and I like her, right? Eventually he's going to muster up the courage to tell his friends like he likes being around her, he makes her feel happy, she makes him feel happy, she makes him feel different, and she makes him feel like somebody that people from the from basically the eye test looks like, no, that's a guy I'm not going to mess with, right? But again, we've seen throughout these episodes, Karuko doesn't see him like that. She sees him as a regular dude who is very kind and caring and compassionate, and she doesn't have these whole, these thoughts of like, oh no, that's a scary dude. I'm not gonna, associate with him, right? So, there's that, right? But I like how they nipped that in the bud to where they're just gonna make it be like, okay, when he tells us, he tells us, all right, that's the thing. So maybe next week we'll maybe get an apology or something where he's like, look, man, I apologize for lashing out at you like that. Look, if you have something you want to keep hidden to yourself, that's fine. Just let us know when you're ready to tell us. Just let us know when, you're ready because, I'm definitely I would like to hear what's going on and everything because I'm your friend. So that's kind of thing. But anyways, we do get Karuko and Rintaro moments in this episode, right? So one of the first moments in the episode, he does text her by saying, "Thank you, what you did for me and helping me, study helped a lot." Because he tells her like he passed. Now he doesn't directly tell her like the grade he got because he told his mom what he got, which was like a 59 or whatever, and the mom was just like, "Oh my goodness, that's the highest you've gotten." At this point, it's hilarious, right? It's hilarious, but she really did like to hear that because she got that text and she just lit up like a ball of energy, and she was like, "Well, now you'll be able to spend time with your friends at the sports festival now. I hope you have a lot of fun." And then after she's basically done texting him, she's wondering, she's like, I wonder what sport they're going to play. Are they going to play basketball? Are they going to play baseball, football? So again, you see the whole like cute, adorable relationship, again, pun entirely intended, blooming between the two. And it's just adorable, man. And the fact like she genuinely does want to know more about him shows that she's genuinely taken an interest in him. So there's that. Now the second time they come across each other, that's when you do get that moment that I talked about how the mom's just like, just happy as all get up and just shocked and like, wait, you got a 59? But also we do see the mom eventually later, sees like he's obviously bothered by something, and that's kind of thing. Now, the only thing is Rentro's kind of bothered by multiple things that are going on, but he's mostly been bothered by what Subaru told him about, hey, it's probably best that you avoid Karuko because listen, I don't want her getting hurt. I don't want her, being put in danger or essentially getting in trouble through to our teachers if they see you. And this kind of been the kind of thing that he's struggling with, on top of the fact that his friends essentially found out like, oh no, this girl gave him his this notebook and some tips and everything and a thank you letter, because he even says like, I didn't even know that letter was in the notebook. Like that was complete brand new to him. So she definitely stuck that sticky note in there, right then and there. Which probably meant he didn't like after he studied with her, he didn't really look at the notebook again. Which otherwise, because if he did, he would have saw it, or unless she put it on a page after all the study notes that she gave to him, right? But you have it where Karuko shows up, and obviously, he just immediately just ducks under cover the moment because he's like, he's like organizing like certain cakes and pastries because they're about to actually clean up for the evening, right? And then he hears her mom says, "Oh, Karuko, how you doing?" And he's like, "Oh my God, no!" And he's hiding back there, right? And I'm just like, wait, it's a see-through glass, right? Because they're putting the sweets on display. She would be able to see him, and it's funny because the mom's like, because Karuko's just like, hey, is Rintaro here or something like that, and she just looks side eye at him, and Rintaro's just like, shut up, don't tell her anything, right? That I'm here, right? And because the mom goes on to talk about like, oh yeah, Rintaro did a really good job on his test and everything. I'm happy for him and stuff like that. And basically tells him to get the hell up, right? And he gets because she's like, right, Rintaro, and he gets up immediately. She's like, oh, Rintaro, you heard everything that I just said. It was absolutely funny, absolutely adorable, right? And she's like, how long have you been listening? And he's like, I was here the entire time. And the funny thing, the mom is like, the mom is just legitimately like, bro, she could have seen you through the display case anyway, so I don't know why you're hiding, right? So basically, the mom does the right mom thing and she gives him some alone time. She's like, she slaps him in the back, like, bro, get into it. Get this girl. I'm still waiting for the moment when the mom legitimately is going to tell uh, Rintaro, bro, you better wife this girl up now. This girl is a very good girl. You better wife her up because I see that you like her. I'm just waiting for that moment to happen when I'm legitimately waiting for that moment to happen. When the mom finally just sees like, oh no, my son likes this girl, and the mom is just gonna be like, bro, you better bring this girl, home one day, and you better tell me you're marrying this girl because if you don't, we're gonna have problems. It's clear that I definitely could see it where the mom, again, like I said in the earlier reviews, I could see it where the mom's like, we do need a successor for this cake shop, right? This desserts place. I want you to marry Karuko. She loves my desserts, and hey, I think she'd be really good. I can teach her how to make these things, teach her the family recipe and stuff like that. So, yeah, I 100%. I can see it by the end of this story because I know the manga is still currently ongoing. I can see by the end of the story when obviously Rintaro and Karuko are together, and you get like a time skip when they're adults. They're gonna still be here in this um dessert store, basically running the store together, right? And will the mom still be there? More than likely, yes, but she'll be an older lady. But I could definitely see it where maybe we get a time skip. They already have a kid, yada yada yada. But I that would be that would be a great ending. Now I figured that's what the author's going to do. That's what I'm going to figure the author's going to do. Because we already know it's established she likes sweets and she likes desserts and stuff, and she likes coming to this dessert store. It will make the most sense by the end of the story when they're together. More than likely, you're gonna get a time skip when they're adults, they're married, they're gonna basically be, doing the store together, right? So there's that, right? But they do kind of have a talk a bit. It's still funny, or well, not well. It's funny just from the standpoint of how they're acting with one another, because it's just these two that clearly like each other. They just don't know how to express it, and they're getting very flustered, right? So he gives her, the desserts that she wants. He's like, "So, did you need me to walk you home or anything?" She's like, "Oh no, it's all good. I'm fine." And everything. So yeah, but she also does tell him like, I'm just happy that you're gonna be able to enjoy the sports day with your friends. And he obviously has the beating in his heart and everything, because at some point later he's just like, at that moment I stood still and I just felt my heart pounding, which basically, it just confirms like, no, this dude is in love with her, right? So that's the thing. Anyways, she leaves. She's like, well, I'll catch you later whenever I see you, right? And he's like, yeah, bye. So the thing is, she ends up going to the subway area, but she ends up getting a text, which we later find out is from Subaru. The mom and Rintaro does have a talk again, and because, the mom is like, hey, you don't seem okay. And then I think he also said, like, if I remember correctly, I think he also said he actually truly got a higher score on his test than initially, but basically the mom kind of resembled this back to their past of how he kind of doesn't know what he wants and stuff like that. Also, too, in this flashback, we see how the mom and him both had different hair color. They both had black hair. So I'm guessing the black hair was probably their natural hair, and I'm guessing they both dyed it blonde. Makes the most case, but I was actually pretty intrigued to see like, oh shit, he actually had black hair when he was younger. So him and his mom definitely dyed the hair. Also, too, I don't know if I brought this up in another episode review on top of it, as well as I don't know if I know maybe they've already, the anime is already explained within these first couple 5 episodes. But again, no, I don't think we've heard anything about his dad. I can only presume either the dad got a divorce or the dad probably passed away. I haven't, again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section if they brought anything up about his father, Rintaro's father. But we'll see. We will definitely see. But, yeah. But it was cool to see. But anyways, the episode ends off with, Karuko, meeting up with Subaru in, the park when I guess they first became friends and Karuko protected her. And basically Karuko's like, hey, you typically don't call me. Or you don't reach out to me unless it's like for school reasons or something like that. So, what's up? And she basically was like, you know, hey, the day you went out to study with Rentaro, which she called her Rentaro by his first name, Sumugi, right? She's like, I actually met up with him and talked with him. And that's where the episode ended off there. So, um, more than likely, it's gonna be Subaru telling Karuko, like, "Hey, I kind of told him to tell him to stop seeing you." Now the question um, is she going to say, like, "I'm sorry, he said he didn't want to stop seeing you. I'm sorry for, not telling you this behind my back, or going behind your back and not telling you this, that what I did." So because only two things. Like she's either gonna say that and say like I tried to tell him to stop seeing you, but he told me no. He still wants to continue to talk and see you, or it's gonna be what I think she's gonna because it's gonna be the whole situation of like I couldn't convince this guy to stop seeing him. I'm gonna see if I can convince Karako to maybe stop talking with him, which I guess may make sense, but we'll see how Karako will treat it. Will add to it. Does this cause a, I guess you could say maybe a little mini fraction in their friendship to where maybe Karako's like, why would you tell me to do this? Like, he's not a bad dude. Like, he's really good, um, and everything. Because it still seems like Subaru still is not really trustworthy of Rintaro, but mostly I think it's to the fears of the fact that if a Kikyo's teacher finds out that a cheatery boy is hanging out and talking with a Kikyo girl, well, then it sounds like it's going to be freaking, murderer's row. Now, again, I would like to find out, like, again, why are these two schools like opposed to each other? Why do they not like each other? Why do they frankly just hate each other and want nothing to do with each other? I don't know why. My only best case is maybe the two principals of the school know each other very well and they just don't like each other for whatever reason. Or maybe it's kind of something where I could definitely see it in a romance show. Hey, they dated at one point, but because they had an issue, it just messed everything up or something like that. Regardless, it seems like the principal of the school definitely was wronged by a male, or maybe if they, I guess, for it would be crazy if they do like, I guess, a super dark angle, for a show that is typically pretty happy and go lucky and bright and colorful. It would be crazy if say like principal of the school, the reason why she just don't like men because she sees men because she maybe had a bad experience with a man that maybe tried to take advantage of her or something like that. You know what I mean, right? If we're gonna go past PG-13 type of stuff, right? I'm not saying like R wording stuff, but maybe take advantage, like a guy trying to force himself on said person. But I guess we'll find out, why the staff members just don't like each other, right? Or why the Kikyo staff members have an issue with cheatery. I'm only going to suggest like maybe a cheatery staff member and a Kikyo staff member knows of each other, which it would make sense if it was just both the principals of these schools and everything. But regardless, I will still say it. I do find it kind of unnaturally unbelievable why a all girls school and an all boys school would hate each other, because I know in the country or just in the entire world there are, especially in the United States, right? There is all girls schools, there is all boys schools, right? We have universities are like that, right? Like for example, my sister, she goes to an all school college university, and she has a friend that goes to the all boys school, like which is legitimately like right door to each other, similar to that, right? So it's like I don't know why they would hate each other, but I guess we'll just have to find out as it goes on. But it's gonna be interesting to see how Karako reacts to the news that hey, yeah, I kind of saw your guy friend, right? And I kind of told him to stop seeing you. And the question is Karako gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna stop seeing him. He's my friend. He's really kind, and he's done nothing wrong. Or is it maybe maybe Subaru's gonna just beg, like, please with me, Haruko, work with me. Like, I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't want you to lose something that's, you're on the path to greatness, and I don't want you to lose all that because you want to talk to this random guy. Now, again, it's like I said last week, like Subaru, albeit she does is coming from a place of care and worry, she has no right to tell Karuko or Rintaro, hey yo, I want you to stop seeing each other. Like she has no right to say that to them, to either one of them. Because that's just one, that just tells me no. Well, one, obviously it could be because of jealousy, but it's also mostly because of worry. One, it just shows me you're not actually caring and you're not actually happy for Karuko, that maybe she's meeting somebody new and she's getting to meet somebody new, and the fact that, hey, she's talking with a boy, you know, I'm gonna support her. I'm gonna be happy. Maybe something can happen between these two, and stuff like that. So yeah, but then again, you know, you have to remember she was also scarred by boys, because you know of her hair color, and that's why she probably wants nothing to do with Carco, because maybe she has a fear that, well, what if this guy gets everything he wants with you, and then eventually he just leaves you high and dry, and you're just all alone, and you're heartbroken because of it, right? So I'm guessing Subaru also doesn't want the same thing to happen to Karako, where she feels like Rintaro could hurt her. And it's something where it's like something like that. Again, makes all sense. But I'm gonna continue watching. I'm liking the show. I just don't like the fact that they keep doing these stupid this back-to-back weeks. They give me these crazy ending cliffhangers where I'm like, damn it, I want more. But I'm trying to avoid the manga. I want more though. So that's kind of all I gotta say. But if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Flagrant Flower, Blooms of Dignity content, or any other anime or video game content upload to the channel. I actually recently did a few live streams the past few days. On Friday and on Saturday I did a Marvel Rivals stream with my friend the Red Wolf, and then after that I played a little bit of Zenless Zone Zero, and then a tiny, just about one match of Dragon Ball The Breaker Season 9, and then on Saturday I mostly had a 2-hour live stream of me playing Dragon Ball The Breaker strictly, Season 9, since it is going to essentially be the final season of the patch and everything for that game. So that'll be the thing. Maybe I'll start to incorporate that a little bit more into the channel, maybe doing some live streams or some games that I want to play and stuff like that. Probably just Dragon Ball The Breakers and, you know, maybe some Marvel Rivals gameplay with my friend and my brother, but we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see. But anyways, that's basically it, all I gotta say. So if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section, and hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Till then, guys, peace.